You should have come after me.
I know. And I have no excuse. But I'm here now, and I'm telling you that...
Telling me what?
Good evening. My name is Bernie Duvall, and this is a special report. It has been discovered that a building in China has just collapsed. Unfortunately, 169 were killed and 168 were injured. Most of the people that were killed were children due to the use of child labor. We have some special guests here to talk about child labor from different perspectives. Here with me is Chris Christensen, the head of marketing at TNT Corporations, Celine Medina, who works with the ILO, and Daniel Ryans, who's a professor at Harvard. So, Ms. Medina, what made you want to start to work with organizations to stop child labor?
Well, ever since I was little, I've always had a heart for people. I've always empathized with them.
What exactly do you do to help children and stop and prevent child labor?
Well, me being a part of the ILO organization, I've been given the chance to travel to Africa, China, and India. When I was also able to travel, for instance in India, I did see a lot of child labor, different situations, and I was also able to report it to the ILO, and just by doing that I was able to help those kids that didn't know any better. They thought that was just a normal life, and we were able to change that, and in that specific area there isn't any more child labor. The laws were enforced and it's changed, so I'm glad for that. But one specific place that I went to was China, and I was able to meet a young boy, and he was able to sit down with me, talk to me, and really break it down of what his life has been when he was growing up into child labor. His family, it wasn't the greatest. They did not have a lot of money at all. His parents wasn't able to raise him as well as they wanted to. For education-wise, he wasn't educated at all. But joining the ILO, we were able to give him an education, and I have been able to talk to him now, and he is very successful, and he does have an education, and he's doing really great, so I'm really glad the ILO was able to help him.
Wu Ding Ming Zi Xia Daniel, Wu Che Sheng 在广东，Wu Cheng 在通东，因为无技术。Wu Sheng 在西西处，我的老板对我的意义非常，他想着还多我吗？我有时仅仅如果来上面，我得到和小气没时间睡觉或休息，我逃离。也总工程，我的工作是这个夫妇的家庭主张，像是我的是真的家庭，甚至在香港像是的嘞，我在课堂上如何理解，我没有接受教授示范，但我仍然感到侥幸。
What kind of things do you do involving child labor?
Well, basically, ILO, we formulate international labor standards that aim against labor rights from all over the world for children, and we enforce them. And we also really want the right to organize, the right to bargain collectively, and the right to equal opportunity for all children and people across the world. No matter if it's ethnic, racial, or gender differences. So we're really focusing.
So, Mr. Christensen, what do you do in your job?
What I do in this job is I'm the head of marketing, which means I supervise all the advertising and different things that we sell throughout the world.
How does it benefit your work?
TNT International benefits from child labor because whenever anyone uses child labor, it costs less to mass produce whatever they're selling, so they can sell it for less, eventually benefiting the economy and making everything like good. And plus, it's just a good working experience for these children, and it helps them prepare later in life.
Why do you think people are for child labor?
Well, I myself do support child labor, and it's been going on for years. Why should it stop now? Like, it helps benefit the economy, lowers prices, more buyers, so it really does help. Why should we stop now?
Why shouldn't child labor end?
Child labor shouldn't end because it's a very cultural thing, like, especially in other industries around the world, like rug making. Rug making is a very cultural, traditional, ancient art, and it shouldn't be stopped because this is something that children can use later in life and teach their children later on. Well, I've heard rumors that child labor does lead to drugs and prostitution, and, well, some of those statistics may be true. However, outside of child labor, there are still children going into drugs and prostitution, so they would have equal chances of going into drugs and prostitution as they would outside of child labor. So, child labor does benefit a lot of companies, and these children aren't too bad afterwards, as long as they find the right places to go to.
So, Daniel, why are you against child labor?
Well, I'm against child labor because it really deprives the child's life as a child, because when they first grow up, they're supposed to just live life happily and just doing whatever kids do, but when you're young and you're doing work, then it kind of just ruins your whole life for the rest of your life. And that they shouldn't even be starting to work at that time because they're not really that capable of doing such things, even though the kids are working in like really harsh conditions and all that. But I think that it's really bad that we have kids work at such an age right now.
What are negative effects of child labor?
Well, some of the negative effects from child labor can lead to gangs, drugs, and prostitution. Even though we already have kids dying and getting injured in such harsh conditions and bad factories and buildings and all that, there's also kids that really need more extra money and more resources, so they actually get into drugs, or they get addicted to drugs, and they also get into prostitution.
Why should it stop?
Well, it should stop because, it really just like what I said before, it ruins their life, and it's just a really bad experience for them to relive when they grow up. And it should stop. How it should stop is that we could start fundraisers or just join a fundraiser. Like I've heard Good Weave, they have this kind of foundation. It's like a thing where you can buy rugs and all that from people that are not kids, like adults, so that it's handmade, but not from the hands of a child. And then there's some other things where you can buy products with a label that says like fair trade and rug mark trades like that, and that it could really just add a little bit more hope and help to them. But there's also a lot of other things called UNICEF, where you have these little boxes where you can put money in, like a little fundraiser just to help save money, such things like that.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your time. This is Brittany DeVault signing off for DGK News.